Welcome to r/Reddit Revenge. This is a story of someone getting back at someone with revenge after being wronged. And today we have 3 great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story. Boss didn't know that I had found a document that I wasn't supposed to see. The second story. Merchant sends me substitute crap and stops responding, so I get a refund and I've still got the goods. The third story. The police use a pastor's parking lot entrance to harass the local people with expensive citations. Local pastor nullifies the speed trap. Today's first story is hire me under false pretenses. Oops. I think this falls under petty revenge. It's from a couple years ago, but thought I'd share. 5 years ago, I started a new job in my field. I was given a 2-year contract, with the expectation it would be a permanent position. This was how I was recruited, what the posting said, and what my contract said. While it's a 2-year initial contract, they wanted a permanent long-term position. In my field, it's common practice to hire an initial contract before doing permanent, because it's difficult to fire when you're permanent. When they interviewed me, they told me the position was established with a lot of clients. My predecessors retired, and they needed someone to take it to the next level. All good. I start the job and realize that after the previous person left, they didn't hire an interim, and essentially the position was nothing except an intern who was doing 5 hours a week September through May. There was no web presence, so nobody knew about the services. Basically, I was starting from scratch. So I spent time building a website, creating social media, advertising, making packages for the community, made brochures, posters, and over the 2 years went from the 5 clients the intern had to 50 clients. When it came time to make my position permanent, they fired me. They said it didn't grow the way they wanted, and it didn't blow it out of the water. And as such, they were canceling my position and program. That was it. I was told to finish my work in the next month, and they'd pay the remainder of my contract out. I was dumbfounded, but whatever. I knew I could get a job quite easily. A couple days later, I was going through Google Doc folders to delete all my documents, and accidentally found meeting minutes from before my hiring, in which there are comments that they want to hire the intern FT, but they're still in school and won't graduate for 2 more years. I looked at another document that had brainstorming, and discovered their plan to hire someone for 2 years, under the guise of a permanent job, to build the role up, then let them go and hire the intern permanently. This allows the intern then to take on a successful program. Well, intern worked until end of May, and my contract was done in mid-July. After intern finished for the term, I decided to finish my work. The website, domain, and social media were all in my name, and since I was told they were canceling my position, I sent an email to the clients to say that the program was ending in June, and directed them to other agencies that offer the same services for September, canceled the domain, deleted the website, closed all our social media accounts, closed the email account, canceled the account with the printing services that had all our designs, done by me, and posters, my intellectual property, everything. It was as if we never existed. In August, I received an email from the intern that she was just hired for my position, but a slightly different title, and asked if I could come by the office to help her figure out the website, as she can't find it, and to help her transfer social media, get the email information, and get all the posters and designs transferred to her name. I emailed her back and said, "Oh, well, this is awkward. I was told the program was canceled, so I directed clients to other agencies so they could have services in September, and deleted all the web presence so people wouldn't get wrong information." Edit. She sent an email back that I was mistaken. The board was going to call me, and asked if I deleted all my Google documents because they're gone too. The board sent me a scathing letter that I wasn't going to get a reference from them. I sent an email back with my board's permission, from my work email, a competing agency saying I was not in need of a reference. Edit 2. The designs are my intellectual property, and my contract stated any copyright images I use are mine, not the agency. It is also a non-profit agency that has a clear agreement if we can't provide services to clients. We are to direct them to other agencies. Nothing I did was illegal, but thanks for the armchair legal opinions. Why a company would do this? Why go through all the trouble to hire this specific intern? Nepotism. The intern was related to someone involved in the agency. My predecessor was supposed to retire when she was graduating, so was being trained to take over, but he retired suddenly 3 to 4 years early. It's really SH that this non-profit organization treats its employees like such crap. It's exactly what they deserve. Maybe if they valued their employees, they wouldn't have this problem. OP did the right thing. because legally it's his property and they have no right to take it away. Cheating your employees is a bad idea. I don't think they even have legal recourse here to sue. I hope they learn their lesson, but unfortunately, stupid people never do. What I don't understand is why the company decided to be loyal to this intern for these 2 years, and not someone who is the right person for the job. Not only that, it looks like the intern didn't do much with his 5 hours a week, which makes sense, when the OP did a lot more good work. He did the job well and definitely deserves to stay in that position. The OP only did what anyone with even a little spine would do. Glad you got a great role. Sorry you had to deal with that crap for 2 years. Great job. Congratulations on your new job. The next story is, no valid return address is no problem. This story is what happened when I took a risk from a rated hot vendor advertising on the Facebook. I saw an advert for a combined rear view mirror and recording camera. Display full width of mirror, full touchscreen, slide out camera, GPS, extra remote rear view camera and cable. It looked a very good deal. I'd seen the adverts for quite some time, so it looked like the seller was sticking around. If it was a scam, it wasn't folding. Note, it may have been a carousel of multiple sellers. What arrived was 2 crap mirrors, with a small screen behind the glass, taking less than 1/3 of the size. No touchscreen, just buttons around the rim. No slide-out camera, no external camera input, no GPS input. I didn't even bother turning them on. I've been told that in the International Postal Union, China is considered a developing country, and it's much cheaper to send goods from China than to send them back. So the scam seems to be to misdescribe goods just enough to make the sale, as it often isn't worth paying to return goods, especially combined with the risk that they didn't arrive, or they arrived damaged, or the vendor is too stupid to work out how to refund. It's enough to make the buyer not want to throw more money at the problem, due to the risk of getting nothing in return. Usually when I buy from China, I get the best gear, sometimes dang good, even all express delivery, because it's safer to buy from a merchant who has a good name to lose if they rip you off. But at this time I took a chance, and was depending on my friendly payment service to claw back any funds if required. I gave the merchant a chance to do the right thing, asking for an immediate refund, and inviting the merchant to arrange collection of his property. As expected, the merchant isn't responding, but I've also raised a dispute with the friendly payment provider. The merchant responds, expressing regret that I'm not satisfied with what I bought, and suggests that I return the goods to China at my expense, DHL or UPS only, claiming that they can't receive mail, so that they can consider a refund. That's not going to happen. I ask why I need to go further expense to their mistake. They stop responding, and the dispute service asks me to return the goods and also specify the return address. Darn. So I get to pay out some more money. But here's the revenge. I used the mail service, tracked and signed for. Even though the vendor says I can't, the friendly payment service makes no such restrictions. Mail tracking shows that the package can't be delivered and is being returned to me. Oh dear. Quick call to the payment service, as it looks like the merchant doesn't have a valid return address. I'm sure that's a payment service requirement. I have to prove that I sent it to the address that they asked me to return it to, which is easy to prove, and so my refund is granted while the goods are still in transit. In a similar way, I get most of the return postage costs refunded. So now I'm down only a couple of dollars for shipping, and I still have the 2 crap cameras. Take that for trying to make me pay extra with DHL for returns. I've given the vendor notice that they can reimburse my final outstanding expense and arrange collection of their property. In a week, I'll give them final notice that I'll dispose of the abandoned goods to cover my expenses and costs of disposal. I'll be obliged to send any excess to the vendor, but as the goods will be sold as seen, bags no returns, I doubt that there will be any excess. Edit. I took plenty of photos of the product, and as I packed it and sealed it and labeled it, so it was well documented as you suggest. You deftly handled the situation. It turned out that the seller wanted to deceive you, but you ended up deceiving him. If the seller says in the advertisement that his product has some features and appearance, it must correspond to reality. It is very unfortunate that half of the sellers who advertise their products are no good, and in general it is difficult to get any response if there are any problems. You can go the extra step and expose fraud. Take lots of pictures. Post your review of their crap online on all the popular social media platforms. Get your review on Chinese platforms if you can. Make it viral. Maybe then the seller will come to their senses and won't create any more shoddy ads. My experience with online ordering from China has been positive 90% of the time. The other 10% have been disappointment due to exaggerated descriptions or sending the wrong item and wasting time fixing it, but definitely nothing like fraud. I'm really sad that this situation happened to you. I hope you have a successful purchase next time. The last story is, local church gets revenge against speed trapping police. Background: there's a high school in a school zone on a heavily traveled city street where I live. The high school sits on top of a hill. There's a church right before the end of the school zone. Right after the top of the hill and the church parking lot entrance is where the police sit trying to catch people going over the 25-mile-per-hour limit. They sit right in the entrance, facing the road, using their radar gun on cars that drive by. Usually the people popping up over the top of the hill are coming back down slightly over 25 miles per hour, because you're likely to go slightly over 25 after trying to get up the hill. It's a very obvious speed trap. I was gotten by the police. I was set on cruise control at 25 miles per hour, and he ticketed me for 27 miles per hour. I told him I was set on cruise control at 25 miles per hour. He said, "You still broke the law, son. No excuse for that. This is a school zone and you're endangering the kids." I had to try very hard not to reply, and you drove 45 to 55 miles per hour to catch up to me in a school zone, so don't tell me you care about keeping these kids safe. I didn't want to be tasered and beaten. I'm not a police hater or an ACAB type, but I just don't want to deal with the police. Well, the local pastor didn't like the police using his church parking lot to issue citations to people. Many of the folks driving on these roads are lower to middle class, and a single $170 citation literally takes food off of their table. That's not very Christian-like of the police to do this, according to this pastor, so he decided to do something about it. Revenge. The pastor called the local police department and asked them to stop using his church parking lot to scan for speeders. The city police rejected him and told him they're parking on public easement. I'm not a lawyer, but I've heard this argument before and it's apparently legit. Citizens just have to suck it up. I know all these details because I work out with his nephew. I was still super butt mad about the ticket, so I told his nephew to tell the pastor to get a cheap automated fence installed, since they only open the church for church services days, outside of school zone hours. Wednesday night, Friday night, and Sundays. These fences are smart, connected so he can remotely control these types of fences from his phone. Sure, an extra step, with the fence installed right up to the public easement property line. There's not nearly enough for a cop car to safely park there anymore. The fence cost more than $2,500 though. Didn't matter, the pastor wasn't having it. The fence is comically an eyesore. It's just this weirdly placed fence on an entrance to the church parking lot, but no other fences around anywhere on that side of the road. It definitely stands out as a giant FU to the police. I laughed out loud when I first saw the fence. Absolutely satisfying. The fence has been up for about 4 weeks now, and I've not seen a single person pulled over when I drive through that zone. The zone is now a safer place to drive through because people are not pulled over on the side of the road, with one of the lanes pretty much blocked. No shoulder. It's a city street, and we don't have overly zealous police speeding to pull over single parents driving 27 and a 25 anymore. You know, because kids walking home from school could get hit from speeders. I expect the police to harass this pastor in some way because that's what happens. But for now, this is some pretty nice pettiness on the pastor's part. Edit. People be, like me, about it quite often, and it often happens in school zones. And any highway you see marked as no tolerance means they will pull you over and write a citation or warning for going just 1 mile per hour over the speed limit. Even if the speed limit is 70 miles per hour. I got pulled over for 73 miles per hour and got a warning. Look out for those roads that have signs that say no tolerance. Also, citations can vary from city to city. Where I live, the citation said 1 to 10 miles per hour over the posted limit, which means that $170 fine starts at a +1 mile per hour over the limit. Haha, it's really a petty revenge, but it's such a good revenge. If you're saying it's impossible to drive at a slower speed, I don't think it's fair to give out fine tickets. 27 and a 25? Absolutely crap ticket. I think that if you still have time, you can easily fight this ticket by simply claiming that the margin of error is within the 2 to 3 miles per hour that the radar guns operate in. Don't forget to subscribe and have a nice day.